Hey, Mama.
Hey, baby.
How you doing?
You're doing fine. How about you?
Good. Listen, to all our followers, you guys have to know that we love you guys. And the reason that you should know that is that this is a Thursday night, and we are going to show you guys how we can greens. Because we never can on a Thursday night, especially after I've worked. But we want to jump on and give you an abbreviated version of how we can greens. You saw Mama cutting up greens yesterday, so we're going to jump right into it and show you guys how we do it. All right, Mama, show us what you got in front of you.
What these are these were the green collard greens. When I cut them up, washed them, and then I put a pin.
Okay. And then these are the ones that you
put on the stove, and I cooked them.
Right, we just did like a blanching them a little bit. And so when I got in, I stopped by the store and I got some smoked turkey wings. And so I cooked those and we put like some chicken broth on there. And so what we did was we just put that on our greens so you can see some of the smoked turkey. Now, we will add like the salt and the other stuff when we get ready to put them in the jars. Okay. Okay, guys, so I want to show you a trick that I learned. All right, because we're going to be cooking these greens 90 minutes, it needs to have enough water so that it can steam for 10 minutes, and then you're going to process for 90 minutes. And I have done it so that I've ran out of water. Trust me, you don't want to do that. So one thing that you can do, because you don't ever want to fill your pressure cooker with too much water. You know, you don't want it halfway up your jars. You don't want that. So what you can do is put some rings in the bottom of your pressure cooker canner, and then you put this on top, okay? And then I'm probably gonna it'll be about 3 quarts of water, and then you guys will see how far up on the jars the water comes. Okay, guys, we're trying to film this, but it's kind of awkward. But here are the greens. Let me see if I can pick this thing up and show you guys. These are the greens. And here are the jars. All right. I know that's probably looking kind of weird, but anyway. I need a videographer, okay? All right, so what we're going to do is we'll take the greens and we're just going to put them in our jars. And what we're going to do is leave a 1-inch headspace. Is that right, Mama? Right?
Right.
Okay. So this is all we're doing. It's taking our greens and we're packing them in our jars. And once we pack them off in there, we'll add a little extra, some of the liquid in there. And then we'll debubble. So again, I just want to show you guys this part. Okay, so now we're going back and we're adding broth to all the jars, and we want to fill it within 1-inch headspace. So I'm putting broth in there now. I'm gonna bring it up to like 1 inch, and then once I debubble, it'll go down. So I will be able to put a little bit more broth in there. So we're just putting a little broth in there. Again, this is just a little bit more broth in there. And then we're gonna debubble and see how much we can get in there. All right, let me show you guys how we debubble. All right, this right here, this instrument is what we use to debubble. And it's also what we use to measure that we're leaving an inch headspace. So we're going to take this in and we're just going to press down on the sides just a few times just to get any bubbles out. And as you're doing this, you can see that the liquid, I don't know if you guys can see because it's just me filming, that the liquid is also going down in the jars. So you always want to measure that headspace after you do this, okay? All right, so this again is what we call debubbling it. And I'll come back in just a second. All right, so we debubbled. And the next thing we're gonna do is where we add our salt and our sugar. Now we use the canning salt. And the reason that we use that is so that the salt, like regular salt, will sometimes cake and become cloudy. So, and for a quart, we're just gonna use a half a teaspoon of salt. Just a half a teaspoon. You don't wanna use much. And I don't have I couldn't find my actual measure, so try to find an actual measuring thing. So I'm just sort of eyeballing it. Just oops, I put a little too much in that one because I forgot that that's a pint. Okay. So just a little bit of salt. Okay. And then the next thing, now this is a step that you may skip. You may not do, but we do put sugar in ours. So we're gonna just put a teaspoon of sugar in ours. You don't have to do this step at all on your greens. As a matter of fact, if I were canning it just for myself, I probably wouldn't. But Mama, you like a little teaspoon of yours, don't you, Mama? You like a little teaspoon of yours, right?
Sometimes.
All right. So now, since we've done that, we want to make sure that with these greens that we leave an inch headspace. So you guys probably can't see this, but if I measure on this right here, that lets me know that I've got an inch headspace. And you never want to go beyond that, because if you do, then you will have the possibility of the contents spilling out. So you don't want to do that. Okay, and then the final step before we put these in the pressure canner is we take a little bit of vinegar, and what we do is we wipe around the rims, because you want to make sure there's nothing on these rims that would prevent them from sealing, because you put a lot of effort in them. You know, you've grown these greens, and you want to make sure they seal, you know. But from time to time, no matter how perfect of a job that you do, you're going to have one that maybe won't seal. And that's no problem. What you're going to do with that is you're just going to put that one in your refrigerator and then go ahead and, eat that one. So, again, we're taking some vinegar, cleaning around the rims, making sure there's nothing. Making sure there's nothing that would prevent it from sticking. So,
where you top is?
Tops are right here. I got them right here.
In hot water?
Yep. Okay. All right. We'll be right back. Okay, and now this is where we're gonna go ahead and put our lids on. This little tool is very handy because this water is very hot that we've got our lids in. But growing up, before we had all these tools, we had a lot of little burnt fingertips. Didn't we, Mama?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. All right, and so the next thing you want to remember, like when you get the little rings, is that you want to put them on, but just finger tight. I know it's tempting to tighten them real tight, but you don't want to do that. You want to be able to allow them to any little pressure, and then they will seal. So you don't want to put these rings on real tight, just finger tight, okay? That's all you need right there. We're not trying to put a lot of muscle in it, just finger tight. So let's get these rings on. Finger tight. And then we'll come back. Okay, so one thing you want to remember when you're putting your jars in your pressure cooker canner is that you want the temperature to be the same. Warm in here, warm jars, warm food. Consistent. Or cold food, cold jars, cold pressure canner. Okay, so this is what it looks like. And we have quarts, but I did have to put a pint in there because we didn't have enough greens to fill a quart. So this is what they look like going in. All right, so we've got it in the pressure cooker canner. And see how it's sitting right here on 0. So we just turned it on. And we're gonna let this thing start venting. And once it starts, we'll set a timer for 10 minutes. And then once that 10 minutes is up, we're gonna put this pressure, this little weight on it. And for where we are, we're gonna put it at 10 pounds of pressure, which is gonna take it up to around 240. And and then we'll just watch it to make sure that we have it set where we want it to be. Okay, see right here, we got a steady stream of steam. So we're gonna set our timer for 10 minutes. So as a side note, sometimes you may not be able to see the steam. You can take like a spoon, put it over there, and you can tell that it is steaming. All right, so it's been 10 minutes, so now we're going to put the weight on. And we're going to set the timer now for 90 minutes. Okay, and so you hear that little jiggle? That's normal. That's normal. So if you'll get used to that little sound, you know, it'll pause a little bit, and then it'll start back to jiggle. So see where we are? That's where we want to sit. So what we'll do is we'll just keep our eye on it. We never want to drop below that. So if it starts moving, you know, above that, then all you need to do is just ease your gauge down. Which you'll find your spot for me, it's right about here. And then it'll be perfect. So again, just want to keep an eye on it. But perfectly safe. Okay, so our 90 minutes is up. All we're going to do is turn it off, and that's it. And we're going to wait until the gauge gets to 0. So we're not going to slide it off. We're going to just leave it right there. Okay, so we're back, and you can see that it's gone down to 0. So the only thing I'm going to do now is I'm getting ready to, take off the weight. Let me see. See, took that off. And then I will just loosen the wing nuts, and then I'm gonna just leave it on for 10 minutes. All right, so I've loosened those up, and when you open pressure cooker or canner, always open it away from your face so the steam can go away from you. And I'm just gonna let that sit sort of like that for 10 minutes. Okay, so it's been 10 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and take it off and then just let it sit for another 10 minutes. This is just so that it has time to adjust to the temperature changes. See if we can see how much water is in there. It's left in there, so we did good. We had enough to process it. Okay, so now it's time to take them out. So let's take a look at that. How beautiful they came out. So we're finished with our collard greens. And so this is what they look like. So I will let them seal. And then tomorrow I'll take the rings off and wipe them down. Okay, so we had 6 quarts and 1 pint. So that's what they look like. And they are going to be really delicious.